beginning, we are here to, become more creative, be more accountable to ourselves, set our goals with a very goal-oriented attitude, and resilience to face failure. So if we do that, we become better employees, but also better entrepreneurs. Because those two move hand in hand. Along the way, one day you become an entrepreneur, but it begins from being an intrapreneur from the company where you're going to be working. Briefly about myself, I've been around in the workplace for 20 years, since I finished university. I've worked in several places. I worked from the bottom of being an auditor to moving into being a finance director, to being a managing director of one of the large NGOs, Uganda Health Marketing Group, and then I made a decision to move into starting my company and being a CEO. And then I also serve on different boards. When I saw many women in the room, I've served as the board chair for Forum for Women in Democracy, Forward, for a number of years. And I also vice chair the Uganda Reinsurance, so I also do a bit of insurance. So I've been around, and I encourage you guys to do everything as you move along. There's nothing like I will finish this, then I'll start this, as I'm going to share with you my personal story on how things can move together, and you don't drop balls. Okay? We learn a bit from others when they share. So my story or my session is going to be talking about entrepreneurial mindset at workplace. And that's the only thing that is going to make you unique. It's the only thing that will make you stand out. You might join the workplace together, but you become a CEO faster than the rest of your colleagues. The only way is because you have an entrepreneurial mindset. So as I start, I would like to ask somebody to explain to us, who are you? Who would like to tell us who you are? Tell us who you are. What do you think? Who are you? I like your smile, so tell me. Who are you?
Thank you, Madam. I'm Josephine Nakachwa. Me as a person, I'm a God-fearing lady, hardworking lady, focused on my goal, a self-employed person, CEO of my own business, and looking forward to develop other ladies around me and the community, and as well make my family happy and the people around me. That's me.
Can we give her a round of applause? Thank you. She was able to articulate who she was by name, her goals, her purpose, and what she intends to do. That's very powerful. What is your purpose? What is your purpose? Because quite often, we actually don't know what our purpose is. We just wake up, eat, drink, and sleep. But I believe people in this room, you have a purpose. Anybody on this table? She's like, now you're coming to me. Okay, what is your purpose?
Thank you so much. My name is Charikola Florence Kayesu. I have been doing a Bachelor's of Arts in Social Sciences, majoring in psychology. My purpose is helping the needy. Thank you.
Her purpose is to help the needy. And as you know, in Africa, we really have a lot of social challenges. So as you shape your future, as you do a lot of money, you must find a purpose, the reason why you live. And that is why Mastercard has a reason to live. The reason for them to exist was to help many other vulnerable people become better. Do we let our failures define us? No. When you fail, it's like an exam. It's like a PhD, you're learning. Every time you fail, don't feel disappointed. It's part of the journey of life. What could we accomplish if we had the strength not to give up? A lot. When you fail, we get so disappointed, we actually feel like closing all the relationships we had in the community or the people around us. In fact, that's the moment for you to reflect and say, where do I start and move to the next level? Everybody who is successful has failed. If we all sit and tell you, this is where I failed, you'll say, hey, how did you stand up? It so happens. When I was still a managing director, one day I lost up to 12 million US dollars in an email. For me, that was the biggest shocker of my life in 2017. How do you wake up and realize that you've lost $12 million from a donor because of a change of a law in a certain country? How do you contain, how do you communicate? I had over 250 employees. How do you communicate to your board chair who trusted you lots of times? How do you communicate to the staff who looked up to you, who have families? Okay? So that, if you go through that, then you say, oh, nothing is difficult. So the main point for you as a good employee or a person who's going to walk through work, it's about resilience. And resilience looks at three things. It looks at adaptability. If you are hit by saying, I'm done with university, I'm looking for a job. All of us have gone through that. A few people have never gone on the streets. But anybody who has ever gone through university and then you all of a sudden come into the community, you have to adapt. Because the life at the university is different from what we see here. You will get a shock of your life that you don't have friends around you. People used to chillax with, they are no longer there. Now you're back into your house, you have to either eat mukene and leave. Yes, that's the reality. But you need to be adaptable and then shape up quickly and move to the next level. Flexibility. Anybody who is resilient, like some of us who dared to try entrepreneurship, you must be flexible. Meaning that I keep telling fellow entrepreneurs, have you ever slept at 5 a.m.? That is the test of being an entrepreneur. And it so happens at workplace, if you're an employee of 8 to 5 o'clock, you're done. You're going to be stuck in one role, you'll never grow. And then we have learning. When you complete university, you tend to get comfortable. I have my degree. In my times, I was extremely proud of my BCom accounting. I was so proud of it, like I would always say, I've completed, I have BCom accounting, first class. I would always feel my head on top because I thought I'd achieved. Until when I was privileged to join PwC, my first job was with PwC, everybody was clever. I have never seen stiff competition with brilliant people. Like I was belittled, to say the least. I said, And people would leave office at midnight, like a shock, because they must deliver a report of a client the following morning. Now, if you've come in with your mindset, I'm in PwC, I'm leaving at 5, man, you'll be thrown out because the performance appraisal will actually catch you. We all had to adapt. I worked with PwC for 3 years exact. I used to move a lot. 3 years, I'm done, I'm moving. So PwC taught me to read because there was those IFRSs. We were doing SCCA. You know the competition of your reading. I got married at 23. So I am in a marriage. I'm a very stiff, competitive job. It was that flexibility, adaptability, learning was the shock of my life at a very young age. So you need to learn that if these things come, are you ready to hold all the balls in your hands? Or you're just going to let go and say, you know what, I'm gone with marriage, let me focus here. You must do everything because we've done them. So let me walk you through briefly the entrepreneurial mindset. How do we get to entrepreneurial mindset? As I've told you, I'm an accountant by professional, and accountants, we sit behind the desks, you analyze numbers, you tend to be comfortable, especially if you get your SCCA. I wasn't like that. So I was an entrepreneur right from the beginning. So we need to distinguish between being an entrepreneur and intrapreneur. An intrapreneur is an employee who promotes innovation within the limits of an organization. So within an organization, yes, we are all employed, but who is an entrepreneur? And you can only discover yourself much later by seeing that I'm kind of different from my colleagues. Because you create, you innovate, you take risks, even at the workplace. It begins from within, from the intrinsic development that you're going to have. Then you will buy the heart of your boss. You buy the heart of your employer. Because the moment they spot you being creative, flexible, adaptive, they want to deal with you. Yeah, not this person says, oh, I've lost my judge. Monday, you're not in office. Who wants to deal with you? An entrepreneur is a person who starts his or her own business with a new idea or concept. That's the difference. So you can be an entrepreneur, but you will also be an entrepreneur on the side, because people usually have side hustles. My side hustle, Capital Solutions, started 10 years when I was still in employment. It was my MBA thesis. So I'm now happy to see a dream become alive. So you can do both. Lightly here, by giving your employer 200%. Never cheat your employer. It will show up. Why are we promoting entrepreneurship? Because it embraces uncertainty. Many people, when they sign a job contract, they believe, oh, I've arrived. I used to have people like that. We had a good project, a 5-year project, $25 million, hired staff, but I would always tell them, guys, this project is here, but it might stop tomorrow. People never used to listen. Okay? And so you get a 5-year job, they would get good loans, they buy beautiful cars. You know, life was flamboyant at that time, until when Trump took over and changed and brought the gag rule. We were part of the gag rule suffering because it pulled down the sexual reproductive health work. And so that's how we lost one of the projects. So if you are not ready to shift with the times, you will actually find yourself out. Uncertainty comes because if you're an entrepreneur, if they're laying off 200 people, you will be one of the few that will say, no, we can't lose Carol. But do you know, by the time they mention your name, you must be extremely unique. You're not part of the crowd. Assemble the right team and resources around entrepreneurship. So every leader, every departmental person, CEO, Capital Solutions, we just deal with entrepreneurship. Even when you join us, you find yourself turning around to become one. Because you might be one person in a department. It rewards agility and incremental proof, and also helps to explore new customer needs and segment. If you join a company, as one of the case studies you're going to work on, you'll find a company, if they're doing in transport, they actually just have one car. So you come and sit in office and just work on one car. Can you become an entrepreneur and bring ideas? Boss, can we try online? Can we partner with Uber? Can you imagine how you're really touching your boss's mind? Because you're becoming a person who wants business to grow beyond just the paycheck. That's what people are looking for. What is it that I'm hiring so and so for beyond being an accounts clerk? So let me just give you a few lessons that I learned. I love sharing what I learned along the way because it connects with my soul but also helps somebody else learn. So along the way, I am inspired by humility, as somebody said, and that's why I moved into social entrepreneurship. So these are some of the companies I've worked through, some 3 years, 4 years. I think I stayed at UHMG more because I worked director finance first, and then I became a managing director. So that was the longest workplace I did. So there were lessons I learned. Number one, I learned that growth and comfort don't coexist. If you want to grow in career, but you also want to be so comfortable, the two don't coexist. You have to drop one. I don't think in my 20s I had so much fun going out, you know. I had to do SCCA. So like from work, you go straight to math and read. And trust me, every time you make a decision, it makes you a step ahead of your colleagues. Because at our times when you would finish SCCA certificate, you would actually bid for a job as a manager. It was easier because they would put a qualification of SCCA certificate. And that's how I would manage to get into roles of managerial at a young stage. Then when you complete and become a member of SCCA, and it would also push you into another space. I remember when I became director of finance, they advertised you have SCCA, but with MBA. That was 2010. And I had just completed my MBA with Esami. Imagine. So that was a great opportunity. Had I not pushed myself too far, I did my MBA when I was pregnant with my second born. Oh God, that was a heavy period. A new role, pregnant, and you have to finish your MBA. But still, I had to do that because growth and comfort don't coexist. Now, what do we do? One, you need to identify what is holding you back. Because we are two different people. Some people are introverts, others are extroverts. Now, if you know that I'm too shy to say anything in front of people, you must start working on that. You need to speak up sometimes when you're in a room for people to hear you. Because when you're in a workplace, bosses want to hear your voice. But you're the kind of person, you come into a meeting, you sit, you look, you listen. No, but even the boss will never remember your name. They will never. And the moment nobody knows you, so you're like everybody else. You're like trash. So you need to work out at yourself, not in a bad way, but in a way that asserts you to be somebody that has fought something that is holding you back. Sometimes it can be your background. It can be your background, and you're like, you know what? Me, I'm nobody. I can't stand and walk. Who tells you? All great leaders come from nowhere because they work on themselves. They are not privileged. You have got to fight and stand yourself. The second one is to mingle with people outside your normal circle. Now, you're not going to be comfortable. Honestly, we are 100 people in this room. You already have this great network. You need to start mingling and say, I'm not just going to sit in my car desk. Can I know the person on the next table? Who knows? Mingle with people outside your circle. Just jump. Just jump. There's no time for you to procrastinate. Just jump. List 3 things you've wanted to do and do them. Like people say, the mouth creates, even the pen does that. If you've been there battling, saying, I want to work with BAT, I want to work with PwC. I used to say that thing for a long time. And I didn't know how I would jump into it because I wasn't connected at all. So when they came for the aptitude test when we were finishing uni, we were many. The room at Makerere was full. And we were doing those aptitude tests. I had no clue what they were. But in my heart, I was like, I think I'm going to be one of the top 5 they will take. Whatever happened, God, moved the winds, and I landed there. It was amazing. Every time I would change jobs, I never looked for jobs from people. Every time I wanted to change a job, I would say, this December, and I would always get Jan. This December, let me buy newspapers. In our times, New Vision was the in thing. So you'd buy a New Vision, I would spot, I would talk to my hubby and say, you know what, Moses, it's time to move. He says, yeah, check. I think let's apply for that. I would apply for 5, 6, go for the interview. The moment you are shortlisted, you're done. You must have that job. You must have that job. What does it take? Your CV has given you a ticket. Because the moment you're shortlisted, all of you are qualified. If you're qualified, now the next step is that how do I impress the interview people? Start by dress code. Dress appropriately. Like, you're not going to go in a torn skirt, you're fidgeting, no. Dress appropriately so you gain your confidence. If you're a woman, go and do a nice neat hair. Not this one which falls in the face, because you'll be struggling with it. Make your hair, leave your forehead open. For the boys, cut your hair properly, not the rasta hair, because you will disorganize them even when they have their liberal. If it is, hold it back. Now, when you enter and your time has gone, keep a light smile, And whoever asks you, give them the eye contact respond to them. Because if I ask you a question and then you're looking at her, do you know how that disrespectful it is? Because you're not looking at me who has asked you now, because he's the board chair, you're interested in the CEO of the board chair. No, everybody is important at the panel. Answer properly, but before that, go to the YouTube and find there's a lot. How to prepare for the interview, how to answer, who are you, or whatever. Briefly, it depends on the level where you're entering. You will never fail. Anytime I would be invited for an interview, I would scoop the job because I'm ready. The papers did it for you. Now it is you and the panel. So you start an out-of-comfort zone plan. Out-of-comfort zone plan. Because you see, when you're comfortable, you're going to be in this small circle. And you'll be comfortable in your house, whether it's in Naweru, you're like me, I finished my degree, I'm comfortable, I am able to buy my ½ kilo of meat, I eat, I don't care. You know, some people get comfortable like that. Somebody else is pacing, no, I want to, and you're like, hey, Ogobachi. There are people like that. Man, you ask Ogobachi, when you ask 5 years later, you'll be asking for a car lift. So we are here to decide whether you want to be in your comfort zone or you want to be where the magic happens. Because where the magic happens, you make a decision. Many people hang on jobs until they're 65. Oh, I can't go. I've been speaking to some commissioners. But they're like, you know what, Dr. Joyce, at 60, where am I going? Then your heart of hearts, you're like, but what were you doing in your 50s and 40s? You would have prepared. You know, it's quietly, you're like, really? Another lesson learned is that if you choose to be a wife, play your housewife work. Yes, because you chose. And now you're not telling me I'm read so much. House girl, enter my bedroom, clean it for me. I don't know what those things. No, play your housework role. As much as you can, either you work, come back from work, or you do the weekend. That's what I've done. The little I can do, I do. Especially cooking. You know your husband, what they love. Some people love matoke, others don't like matoke. So focus on him, because the marriage is between you and him. The rest is what? So when you play the part with him, nobody will ever divert him from you. So the game is between you and him. Do your housework, your housewife. Clean up, appear, give dinner. Try as much as possible to make him fit into your path. And that's the way for the men. Because men tend to chase career. Then when they hit 45, they start looking for the family. Where is the family when you want there for them? I'm a mother. I'm a mother of 3, and I try to make my kids my friends. Because you can chase career, and then you come back home, and nobody wants to speak to you. So I started, when Carl, the last born, became 10 this year, I started going for dinner with individual, because I learned it from somebody else. I used to take them as a group, but one of them is so quiet. And he would never say anything. I'm like, Robin is not talking. But one parent told me, no, they are different. If you want to take a date for Carl, go with Carl alone. Have a conversation with Carl so you get to know him. So now I've started doing that with Carl, with Robin, and Keith. So we do, and now we are more close. We talk, we connect, yeah? So, and Keith, because he's joined uni, he's doing BCom, he's now our accountant for the small hotel we have. So we pay him, and he's learned. So he says, oh, Mommy, we did bank reconciliation. Oh, but I've just done a bank reconciliation. So we taught him along the way as a friend so that he can also appreciate what we do. Another lesson learned is you need to sit on the table where decisions are made. One of the things I learned when I was still an accountant with Save the Children Denmark, they started merging the Save the Children's, UK, US, and Norway. Because I was an accountant, I wasn't yet into the middle management. So I and my colleagues, some of them were administrators, were in our 20s, and then the big guys would move into the room, they discuss. So we would always wait for the managers. What happened? Whom are they cutting? So that pain, I'm not used to being in that space. I was like, supposing they wake up and say they want one accountant, yet each set of the children had an accountant. Personally, I didn't wait. Me, I said, you know what, let me search the newspapers and get another job. Why are we in a space where we are going to be fighting? Thankfully, I was able to get a regional job as a manager. I dared. And I went, I had never worked with USAID, but when they asked me, I said, you know, accounting is accounting. I've never done USAID, but I will bring the experience from the Denmark guys. And that was a powerful one. And I got the job. So as my colleagues were hurrying, oh, the merger is here, Joyce, and I had moved on. Because I didn't want to say now, you don't have a paycheck. You have a young family. So me, I said, let me move to a space where they give me a table where decisions are made. So I moved to Yasi, and I was happy there. So I was in management, I moved, and I was comfortable. You need to show off your leadership qualities. If you're young, how would people know you're a leader? Participate. If the boss says, we are going to organize this workshop, you're on the reception, be the first one to say, boss, I think I can be able to support. Offer yourself to serve, because they are not going to choose you until you choose yourself. Don't listen to the noise. Noise is a killer. When you're working, quite often things stop you from moving far. And because your aunt is telling you this, or you're turning 30, you haven't married, and then you start being worried because I'm not married, but then you have a job. Now you're happy with your job, and now you're hearing noise of not being married. Everything has time. Speak to your God, he will guide you. Don't go in a panic, because you're going to make a lot of mistakes. Another lesson I've learned in my journey is you need to think ahead. You need to think ahead. I remember when we were doing MBA with Esami, one of the lecturers told us, how many of you have a strategic plan? I looked at my colleague's strategic plan for myself, because I said, we have for the company. He said, for you. And we used to do our MBA from Fairway Hotel. That was the time I learned. I never looked back. I remember I had saved some little money, asked my husband that I need to go for a retreat for 2 days. I keep telling it to people. I took 2 days at Botanical Beach Hotel to do my personal strategic plan for 10 years. When will I have baby 2? When do you think we can build? When do you think you can move to another role like that? Like, you need to think ahead for you. Because if you don't, nobody's going to do it for you. The world is full of noise. Like, every time you step out, somebody else is telling you their problem. When will you have thinking for you? And also, another thing I learned along the way is you need to belong and be active in your professional body. When I completed SCCA, chances were like I was fed up. I needed to be doing my work and stop all that kind of activity. But I realized I needed to be active in the SCCA space. And do you know what it played? I went, and one time we had an AGM, and they were saying, who would like to serve on the next members network panel? As I sat, I said, what does it take? Majority of the accountants at that time, they are extremely busy. They don't have time for voluntary. But I put up my hand and joined the members network panel. That was 2014. When I joined, I had to use my mind. What is it that I love? So when I was on the members network panel, I said, guys, can we do something unique as accountants? And people said, what is it? I said, you know what? Cancer is on a rampant. Why don't we work with the Uganda Cancer Institute and collect money, because accountants are well positioned. We collect some money and we buy beds for the Uganda Cancer Institute. Members bought in, we sold it to the SCCA members. We went to the Uganda Cancer Institute, because at that time I was still with UHMG, it was very easy. And they said, no, sounds good, let's work with it. I had to use my mind. What is it that I love? So when I was on the members network panel, I said, guys, can we do something unique as accountants? And people said, what is it? I said, you know what? Cancer is on a rampant. Why don't we work with the Uganda Cancer Institute and collect money, because accountants are well positioned. We collect some money and we buy beds for the Uganda Cancer Institute. Members bought in, we sold it to the SCCM members. We went to the Uganda Cancer Institute, because at that time I was still with UHMG, it was very easy. And they said, no, sounds good, let's work with you. So we started a campaign to fundraise from colleagues, and we collected $30,000. We went, bought the beds, we delivered them. And that was the start of our engagement. I think you realize SCCA continued. We've given a lot more. Members learned that giving is good. So we've given a lot of things to the Uganda Institute until last year. So I went in to chair, and I joined the International Assembly. What does that mean? It gives you, it elevates your thinking away from a desk of being an accountant, just. So when I would go for these members' international assembly in the UK, it would give me an opportunity to say, you know what, listen broadly, because I would have to make a report to the members in Uganda. And I think that's what gave me the courage to say, when the role of the managing director came, I was able to bid for it. Yet it was a health company. The self-confidence you get by engaging in your professional body is very important. Why? It also gives you a sense of belonging. The other lesson I've learned is that you need to ask yourselves a question: who is in your room? That book is very powerful. If you ever save any money, that's a book I would love each one of you to read. Who is in your room? It can be practical or not. Because quite often, the people you have in your phone describe who you are. That's what I mean. Who is in your room? If you need 2 million Uganda shillings, is there anybody in your phone who can even say, oh, by the way, Joyce, come for it? Do you? The moment you talk about money, you call again, people will not pick. They will not, even if it's 20,000 Uganda shillings. So you need to check out who is in your room. When you go to workplace, you've been hired to work in administration, think broad and get friends outside admin as well. Whom do you talk to? When a week begins, like personally, if I don't have a strategic meeting in a week, I am restless. You need to look at somebody better than you to speak to. Strong social capital. If there's anything that kept me going to balance my balls, was the strong social capital. In Africa, we come in very strong social capital. Your church, your family, your village, your classmates or schoolmates, your workplace. All those will play a part. Do we abuse those spaces? How do you connect with them? I think once you learn that you have a strong social capital, you live a better life. There's no way I was going to have a family, chase career, and still balance. I realized that, oh, there are nieces out there. I played a part with my nieces a lot. Every time I would have a niece to come, I would pay their school fees, but also I would feel strong that I have a niece in the house so that my baby is also happier than just being a maid alone. That for me was a deal. So my niece would always be around and she would go to school, but I know if I've traveled, she's always there to give a second eye to my baby when I'm away. And at the same time, you're helping them also be elevated. They've gone to uni, they finish. I've managed some of them, one works with Deloitte, another works with EY. But also they looked up and said, you know, I want also to do a CCA. Not that I influenced. But they helped me, I helped them. So you might also think along your career and say, how do I use my social capital to be better, grow my career, be excellent, and be an entrepreneur? That's my motto. Have you seen it? What does it say? Say it loud. Absolutely. That is a moment that will test you at workplace. I love what she said, the previous speaker. You are not there to make friends. Friends will become a by the way. But workplaces are extremely competitive. What you have, your neighbor wants. Nobody should lie to you. The day you are promoted to become a manager, they start eyeing you differently. So you need to watch your back. Once they go low, go high. I remember before I became an MD, as a finance director, there was a campaign against the current MD. I don't know where it came from, and they wrote a chirochi to alomunaku. I don't know whether you've heard about that. It's always a weird letter. Some facts, they put in some facts to make it look real, and some wrong things. So they wrote a chirochi to alomunaku about the MD, and somebody posted it on a wrong account on the all staff group. I remember I had gone for a financial management training in Nairobi. My MD, because she trusted me, she called me and said, Joy, I want to speak to you. It was around 10 p.m. I said, what is it, madam? She said, Joy, there's an email which has come in and blah, blah, blah. And she used to fear a lot because she wasn't from an accounting point of view. I told her, you know what? I have your back. If there's anything to do with compliance, be sure we will manage. Take heart. Make sure you inform the board chair, step by step. I remember one of the colleagues who was behind this question, Joy, there's a campaign, we want to out her out, blah, blah, blah. I told her, what is your agenda? If she's out, what do you benefit? That is all I asked. I never participated. I started fighting for a fellow woman to stand strong. Because today it's me, tomorrow it will be you. I said I have to fight for her because she's done some good work. Some people may not appreciate. And being an MD is a tough job. You can't please everybody. So long story short, we fought back. It went through an investigation and so on. And she went through it. So when people go low, please, that's what saved that day. And every time she would be away, Joy, you're going to be acting MD. So it taught me a lot of things because she would see through other people. Believe in yourself. It starts from there. Believe it. In fact, you have 100% of everything that makes you tick. 100%. God created us uniquely, and He put everything you want in you. Once you learn that you are uniquely made, even when somebody shakes you up, you will stand strong. It's just a matter of learning. It's a phase of life. We take time to learn. As I keep telling people, even us, we learned from the powerful women who were in the women's movement at that time, the Winnie Byanyimaz, the Matembes. They used to make a lot of noise when we were at the uni. But because we admired, we went close to them. We went close and learned. Because you must believe in yourself to become who you are. You also need to nurture yourself to grow. We are here to learn. The knowledge you're earning this week or this month, you will never get it elsewhere. Because it's impactful and it will touch you personally. So the point here is that how do you become different right from this session? I've also lived a 90-10 rule. 90-10 rule is the key. Why? You need to spend 90% of your time working. My father used to say, omulimo, kyekitiibwa ky'omuntu. Like, for you to be respected, you must have something to do. You need to invest, at least to go to your farm and plant trees. You need to plan future goals. As I said, sit back from here and go and vision yourself 5 years from now. You will never be the same. You need to learn, start reading. Instead of being on TikTok 90% of your time, change the other way around and listen to learning podcasts. But also healthcare. If you want to be 40 and you look together, you must practice health right from your 20s. Or else you risk getting 5 children, 3 children, and all your bodies everywhere. Then spend your 10% of your time should go to relaxing. You also have to relax. YouTube, having your you time. I do a lot of you time. Playing, I do aerobics, and then doing nothing. Men do nothing. That's one thing I learned along the way. When your BF or your husband is quiet somewhere, please don't interfere. We love interfering women. That is their me time. Because you see, when he goes in his corner, he's having his time. But quite often, relationships break. I sent you a message. You blue-ticked me. You send another one in 2 minutes. Why are you not responding to me? He blue-ticks. Then you send another. Oh, my goodness. He will actually come back to you. He will. Because that's how men do. Girls, we are. So once you learn, you will actually have your you time. If he's in the sitting room watching TV, that is chillaxing, don't talk to him. Come and eat. Come and bathe. Let him be. You go bathe, eat your food, and be alone. Yeah. That will give you peace than trying to make him. Okay? Give higher levels of gratitude. We are here because I was telling the PSFU team, there are so many young people who would love in these sessions, but they didn't get an opportunity. For you to be here, give gratitude. Just give gratitude. You will see how things will fall in place. I celebrate every small win. Me, I don't wait for big wins. If I do this, I celebrate. When I complete this, I celebrate. It gives God an opportunity to say, she is grateful. Let me add more. So, I'm almost closing my sharing, but I would love to hear, one of you, what excites you in life? What excites you in life? Can I come? No? Okay.
My name is Namaganda Vivian. I did a bachelor's degree in business administration, human resource. What excites me in life is giving. I don't know, but giving makes my heart full. I am more excited about giving someone something more than they're excited to receive it. I always feel so happy to help, to give, to make another person happy. Yeah.
Thank you. They say when you give, you get. So thank you for sharing. Is there a gentleman who wants to tell us what excites you in life? I hear marriage.
Thank you so much. My name is Joshua Campera. I did a Bachelor's of Records and Archives Management. And what excites me in life is simply seeing people around me happy. If I come to Ponsiano and I say, Ponsiano, what's up? And Ponsiano tells me with a smiley face, not reaching someone, hello, hi. That's what excites me. Thank you.
Thank you. So you have an eye in the HR department. Husna should look at you because you might make her team happy. Okay. Right, so we go to the second one. What lessons can you share that you have learned during university? What lessons can you share that you've learned during university? There is a lady there, but let's start from this gentleman.
Good afternoon. My name is Regan Sekuwanda. I did a bachelor's degree in business administration, procurement major. My major lesson at the university was that my degree is not all that it takes for me. I need to do the extra work. I need to run the extra mile for me to succeed in life. There is more than what meets the eye. What I learned mostly is that everything that I am taught at the university is really quite not enough. I need to put in the personal work as a person if I want to better myself and grow. Thank you.
Thank you so much. My name is Nalmasi Aisha. and I graduated with a bachelor's degree in community psychology. One of the lessons that I learned at university is having good interpersonal skills. I remember when I joined university, I joined a bit late. I didn't know anyone at university, but at my school, I didn't have any leadership position, but because of the different interpersonal skills I share with different people, even if I don't know you, like people will get drawn to you because you are a nice person, you are a kind person. So that has taught me a lot, because you might be walking around university, you find someone, hi Aisha, but in real sense, you don't know this person, but at least they know you and how you conduct yourself.
Good afternoon, everyone. Nina Kamkama, a graduate of Bachelor's in Science in Quantitative Economics. What I learned from the university was it's not every time is for reading. Okay, it's not every time is for books. Because personally, in my first semester, I really read a lot. Like every time I would be in the library and not get time to like discuss and maybe interact with other people, but I realized that I failed. Like I really got bad grades in that semester, but then in the next semester I tried to do what I really feel passionate about. Like I decided to join sports. Like I started doing sports, working out, doing exercises, and I realized that actually this really improved on my performance, since I was, first of all, doing something that I was happy with, and then also reading books. And now I'm a happy sports lady, and I still go back to campus to train the mind sports like bridge. Thank you.
My name is Esther Deke. I'm a community psychology trainee. I learned two things at university. One, your reputation precedes you. The second one, you're always valued when you have value.
Okay, Nankunda Heather once again. My major lesson I got from university is having the right people around you, because people around me made me what I am, because I joined university with a course I didn't like, but people around me helped me like the course. And now I'm proud and working. Then I also got to choose people who like reading, because I used to fail when I just joined campus, but they introduced me to reading books and told me to change my mindset, because at one time I told them, for me, I think I can't get a D1 in programming, because I'd set my mind, but they tried to do the counseling, talking to me, so making good friends made my life change.
Yeah. Okay. None. Okay, thank you. Thank you very much. One lesson I learned was not to follow the crowd. Know your why. Why? If others are going maybe for church, for you, you're following them. Why going there? So it gave me confidence. Do what you love. If others are going to the club, don't follow them to fit in the society. I should go there with my own reasons. Thank you.
Good afternoon. My name is Ankunda Susan. I did Bachelor of Commerce Accounting. And one thing I learned from university is it's not always the wise that will excel, but rather how you strategize yourself. So you should not get low grades and feel like, I cannot make it, I can't do this. No. Be strategic in whatever you do and you'll excel. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. My name is Mujuni Posiano. I did business administration. What I learned at campus is that seriously, for whatever we learn here, we have to practice it. But where can we practice it? Is to have hobbies. If we get hobbies, we shall join some things at campus. We join choir, you can join a team, football team, you can join a debate club, you can join, and then you practice everything you have learned somewhere so that you gain experience. It is those friends you get there that will connect you. We shall look for the connections in the big people, but when they are busy and in the whole day, they will never remember you. But my friend will call me and tell me that there's a deal here, and I will come. And there, I'll have a job. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you so much. My name is Najita Aisha, and I graduated with a bachelor's degree of science in human nutrition. So my major takeaway from university was managing time. Most of the time we were loaded with assignments, but we could not wait for the deadlines so that we work with deadlines. You know how most of the people do? They always work on deadlines. So we could do our work like within time to make sure that we avoid all other inconveniences.
Okay, so that was all right. There's a lady who says, if you don't give me, I'll die. She's here.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Namuhula Juliet, an industrial and organizational psychologist. What I took away from campus is like a marketplace. Everything is there. You want witchcraft, it's there. You want spirituality, it's there. You want books to the maximum, they are there. You want to have fun, it's there. So it's up to you when you're entering, what do you want to buy? At the end of the day, what do you want to get? So those who came in early, they get the cream. Those who enter in around midday, they get, things that are already halfway. So campus is like a marketplace to me. What you want, you get it there, but it depends on the time you get there and how much you have, and how much effort you're willing to put in. Thank you.
We seem to have had everybody. Gentlemen, please share very briefly, 1 minute. Okay. 1 second.
I actually requested him to. Thank you so much for giving me this opportunity. My takeaway from the university is basically one: get out of fear. Have confidence that you can always make it. There's also why I've said like this. The story is a bit lengthy, but because of the interest of time, I request that I stop here. Thank you.
They would be able to share quite a lot in detail, but time is not on our side. Thank you very much for sharing. And this is what you're going to find in life, because you begin from what you learned from the university to the workplace. That is how it works. And that gentleman at the back who said, you need to create a hobby, you need to get to know people more, because they might connect you beyond what you know. And I think that is a very, very powerful way. When we at the university, people tend to be proud. They get into their own space. When you leave, you become lonely. Actually, the person you never used to talk to might be the person who would have connected you to a job. You just need to loosen up and open up. That's the only way life works. You need to keep running and embrace change. As I said, university makes you feel like, oh, we've arrived. Honestly, that arrivalism, when you graduate, you either go back to your village or you hang around Kampala at relatives' places, and then you realize how tough it is. So you need to have a total overhaul and embrace change and say, you know what, I'm here. I either survive or I drown. So if you had a friend, you would just be there and say, hi, do you have anywhere? I might just go and volunteer. That might be the opening for you. So we need to let go, especially in this room, connect with people. Somebody might know somebody and somebody might know somewhere. You need to weather the storm, because the storm out here is heavy. Financial storm, that the hit in the pocket might hit you live. Then you might have storm of hunger, like food is not enough, you can only afford 1 chapati a day. Then a lot of storm going on, including men who will come for you if you're a girl, just wanting to use you and you're not aware, you're innocent, you're naive. A lot of storm. How do you weather the storm? A lot of things you've learned today, they will help you survive. Also, you need to figure out, if your uncles don't know anybody, figure out, because nobody cares. If you learn something that nobody cares, you will be okay. Because some people think I'm so important. Who cares? Which importance? If you die today, they will bury you and life will go on. So if you learn that, you stop imposing your importance and you get real. And once you're doing well, those who never used to say hello to you, they will come back to you because people love success. Mm-hmm. So that's how the world works. And don't have any beef. Oh, now I've arrived. They're calling me. It's okay. Say hi, hi. They ask you for 5K. Give them 5K. Don't bring them into your house. Simple. Because you need to learn how to survive. Big idea and vision. There's nothing more pathetic than a man with eyesight but no vision at all. People with vision never woke up with their visions, no. They also fought hard. Majority of the people come from nowhere, but they created a vision and said, this is what I want to see in my life. Whatever it took, they did and they arrived somewhere. But the pain they went through is some of the conversations we've had. So what do you want to be is a question you have, and you shape what you want to be. Quite often when you hit it in professional, you can never retract to be an entrepreneur. It's the last thing you can think about because you're comfortable. But that comfort also will make you cry one day. Where are you now? Can you be real to yourself and say, where am I? Be real, don't lie your friends by putting on these long nails and you look so sophisticated when you're hurting inside. So be real to yourself and accept to heal by yourself. Don't try to impress anybody because they don't care. What are the gaps? What should you do to fill the gaps? Because each one of us may not have a full glass. You work on your full glass as you go along in life. So your glass might be half empty, but it's you to make it full. So it's going to be a journey for you to work on yourself, to make your glass full, so that you don't have to look for people to fill it for you, because there they will abuse you, because human beings by nature abuse others. I'm just telling you this because it's a reality of life. Somebody will hire you at workplace and you think you've gone to make a friend. The following day she backstabs you. Then you feel so hurt and you stop working because she has hurt you or he has hurt you. They don't care. Whatever you have, they want. Or women are not supposed to excel in what? Who tells you? You will be married. You will still be somebody's daughter. You will mother your children. You will become a leader and you excel. People have done it. Why not you? Why? You want to sleep a lot? For me, weekend. I wake up at 5 p.m. and you're now telling people as if it's very nice. Sunday, I sleep. You people, I sleep. Like, what are you telling us? Don't say certain things. Start changing the ways of doing work. Because they're going to find you 2 years later and you're a manager in a big company and they wonder, how did she do it? Kick off your shoes and beat down to earth and back to basics. I have done that. When you find me somewhere in the women that I promote, I support on their social enterprises, I have no egos or wings, mania PhD, I don't know what. I am there to do my job. Because I want to see somebody else be better than I was. You can choose to work with the World Bank with all the qualifications I have, but you can also choose to promote Africans to become better. It's a choice. Life is a choice. So kick off your shoes and go down to the basics. Be humble. Because if you're not humble, life will humble you. I think you're hearing some of the ministers now who are saying, you know, what, they are running around Mabati. Were we there when they were stealing Mabati? So now, if you're not humble, life will humble you. So we just learn those lessons along the way. So That marks the end of my discussion with you, and I would like to thank you very much for listening. But I have a simple exercise so that we can be able to think about what we've learned. On the tables, you are supposed to have a case study. There are 2 companies, and we are going to work in groups of 10. So if your group is not 10, you're going to look at a table where you can make 10, so that we can be able to just read. One person reads for you the case study, and the rest you pick out those 2 questions to just dialogue. One, it is also teaching you how do you dialogue a case. If you join a company and a calamity comes, if you join a company and something, how do you interrogate what is going on? So one group is going to look, okay, I think we'll have people looking at different groups, but each person looks at, each table looks at one case study, not 2 case studies. Yeah, because you'll find one group will look at a case study and another will not have looked at it. So we do 1 case study per table, meaning that 5 people will look at a case study. 1 case study is about the Gmail case study. How did we come to have Gmail? Another one is looking at PlayStation. How did PlayStations come to be? I know boys love PlayStations. How did they come? So let's read the paragraph, and then you deliberate on 3 questions. What stood out for you? What made this innovation possible? And what lessons have you learned? So once you deliberate, we'll come back and you'll share. One person on your table will be the secretary to share with us. Thank you very much.